let's get stuck in straight away with the first question from
Okay.
Simon, who
Yes.
says, I know you must get this a lot, but will the Chronicles of Ancient Darkness series ever be made into movies?
Well, Simon, you're right. I do get it a lot, but I don't mind. I'd like to know the answer to that as well as you. I mean, the short answer is not yet, because we did various deals with Hollywood and things, and sort of those, you do film deals and then they don't always get made into films. In fact, most films deals don't get made into films. So we haven't got a film in the pipeline, but I'm really hoping that at some point we will. And then what I can tell you is the first place you'll hear about it is on this website. I think the reason possibly they haven't been made into films yet is that it would be pretty expensive, because it would all be filmed outside, and wolves are not great actors. They don't do what you say, so it would be CGI plus real wolves and all quite complicated. But here's hoping.
So do you think it would be a real wolf, or do you think it would just be completely computer generated like they do on Star Wars now?
I mean, that would obviously have to be up to the filmmakers, but I think it would probably be a mixture of both, because you could have footage of real wolves, but then when there's wolf interaction with Torak and Ren, I think you'd probably have to CGI them, but accurately CGI them, What I wouldn't want is a sort of cartoon wolf. I mean, you've got to actually, the filmmakers would have to observe wolf behaviour and that sort of thing, which I'm sure they would.
Yeah. Velissa, that's VEL, Velissa says, is there ever going to be a movie for the Chronicles of Ancient Darkness series? Because I absolutely love the books and I'm just dying to see a movie. Well, that's pretty much the same question that many, many fans and readers have been asking. And I'm just wondering, Michelle, sometimes it's a bit of a mistake, isn't it, actually, to go and see a movie of your favourite book?
I think most people will be aware of that. Yes, you're right. It can be a risk, can't it? I mean, it's a risk if you're a writer and your book is made into a film, because it's almost certainly not going to be the way you experience it in your head. And I think for many readers that can happen. I mean, everyone has their own version of Chronicles of Ancient Darkness. You will see Torak and Ren differently. You will see Finkedin differently. It's never going to be completely the same when you go to the cinema, but it might be different, but in an acceptable way. I mean, I don't know about you, Velissa, but if you watched the films of The Lord of the Rings? I mean, I did. I loved them. They were different from my vision of the books, which I'd read many times before, but they were different in an acceptable way. There was they caught the spirit of the books. So I hope if we do get films of Chronicles, I hope they'll catch the spirit of the books. If they do that, then little differences I think people will be able to tolerate.
So you're a fan of Peter Jackson, but what I'd like to ask is, are you a fan also of the 3 Hobbit movies?
Let's just say I'm a fan of The Lord of the Rings.
Oh, very diplomatic.
Quite different. I mean, there were things in the Hobbit movies I liked. I just questioned the wisdom of stretching it over 3 books. And some of it... I'll tell you one thing. The bit when, I think it's in the last... it might be in the second or the third Hobbit movie, when Thorin is on the sort of river of molten gold and he's sitting in a wooden boat.
Yeah.
He wouldn't have survived. I mean, how would you do that? That would burst into flames. That kind of thing irritates me, because, it means this is just a computer game and it's not a film.
Good
So
point.
there we are.
Veracity. Yes.
Yeah.
William says, I'm a huge fan of the Chronicles of Ancient Darkness and was wondering if there is a movie coming out, or if you were planning on writing any more books in the series. You could write a few more books about how Torak and Ren, he's giving you a hint here, you could write a few more books about how Torak and Ren have kids. And that. Thanks.
Well, as for the film bit, see previous answer. Not yet. There have been film deals. Let's hope that in the future, soon, there will be something. In terms of writing more stories, I mean, the approach I've always taken is Chronicles is a story, one story, books 1 to 6. It has a shape to it. But they've never really gone away, those characters. So if I get an idea for a really good story using those characters, I will be happy to go back into Torak's world. In terms of, yeah, it's a good idea, the children. I'm never that fond of stories which carry on into the next generation. I'm never as keen on the kids as I am on the original characters. So I'm not sure about that. And just the idea of Ren being a mother, and I just don't know. I think she would just get really fed up with being at home instead of going hunting. So I can't really see her.
Nah, she's not domesticated, is she, really?
She's not. She's not. And, you know, somebody would have to look after the kid. So there we go. Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks, William, for that. But probably don't hold your breath waiting for the son of Torak. Kaya says,
but if I get a good idea for a story, you know, I'd be happy to be back in Torak's world.
All right. Interesting. Hi, says Kaya. I was wondering if there will be a Wolf Brother film coming out and any information about auditions. And you can see which way Kaya wants this to go, can't you, Kaya?
I can, Kaya. You're not the first person. I have had letters over the years from people saying I would make a brilliant Ren. I know I was born to act Ren or Torak. Not so many people wanting to be Wolf, obviously for reasons. Well, auditions, if there were a film series or a TV series, I don't think I'd be involved in the auditions because that would be rightly down to the filmmakers. You know, their money, therefore they've got to choose, you know, who to cast. But I think it's an interesting point you raise because personally, I think it would be nice to have unknown actors for the main characters, Torak and Ren particularly. You know, I'm not a fan of sort of going along to the cinema and recognizing the stars. Oh, this is the latest whatever film with that star in. It'd be much nicer to have unknown actors. So I mean, I think if there were a production and there were auditions open to the public, I'm sure we'd have some link on the website which would tell you. So you know, you would find out.
All right, so
that's all I can say.
Don't give up hope, Kaya. You never know. You never know. Just wonder generally, Michelle, what are your favourite films?
I hate that question. Favourite films. Sorry, it's sounding very cross. But it's so difficult to tell because I've watched films all my life. So we're going back many years before lots of the readers were born. There's a Russian director called Tarkovsky who made only about, I think, 8 films or something, but very long. Some people find them boring. I find them incredibly beautiful. So I love those films. I like frightening films. So film noir, the sort of classic American films, black and white. Well, some American, some others, but black and white, beautiful lighting. And let me see, obviously ghost stories. I mean, one of my favorite ghostly film is called The Innocents, Ents, The Innocents. It's an adaptation of a Henry James story, and I think it was made in 1952. Black and white, really beautiful to look at, and extremely frightening. I think, you know, watch it with the lights off, and it's a beautiful, beautiful film. And it's wonderful.
Great. Well, if Michelle says it's scary, you can bet your bottom dollar it's scary. Thank you so
scary,
much.
Yes, but subtle.
Scary, but subtle. Thank you very much, Michelle. It's been fantastic talking to you again. Now, if you're a reader or a fan, or indeed anyone with a question you want to pose to Michelle, it's very easy to do it. Your question can and will be featured right here on YouTube. Simply go to her website, michellepaver.com, and click on the Ask Michelle a Question button, and you can type your question in there. And in the fullness of time, Michelle will get round to answering it. So thank you very much, and we'll see you soon.
Bye.